Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Stephen and this is Wild Frontier Adventures. This channel is about my love for the great outdoors, fishing, prospecting, hunting, and exploring everything the wild has to offer. So if you're ready to explore and enjoy the ride, let's dive in together.
Hello and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, thank you for taking this journey with me. Today we have headed down to the creek to test out whether a new style pan is better than my grandfather's old pan. So we'll run both those down the creek and see what we come up with. See which one can catch more gold and things like that. I haven't been on here much lately because I went down to Melbourne to have a ketamine fusion to help manage my pain from my back. And I'm happy to report that with great success, I can now walk without a walking stick, which has made life a lot easier. Now this isn't like a permanent fixture, it is like a temporary fix that essentially lasts anywhere from 4 months to a year long. So whilst I've got these pain reductions in place, I'm gonna make the most of it. So come with me, let's head down to the creek and let's see if we can get some gold out of here. Alright, we're down here, the lovely creek. So today we're going to test out two theories. One being what pan is better, like a modern day pan versus my grandfather's pan that's probably, I don't know, let's go around figure about 40 years old. And two, in a gold bearing tidal creek where the normals, as in locations and where you find gold being the inside bends, and that sort of area, does that really matter down here? Because it's not an omni or a one directional flowing river, it's got an in and an outflow. So therefore my theory is wherever gold would normally sit, won't normally sit, because those low pressure zones are going to constantly change with the tide. So we're going to try and find that today. I'm just going to throw the pan and wherever it goes, we're going to dig, because I reckon it's just spread out everywhere. I don't think it's holding in one location. I think it's just spread out throughout the whole creek, which is cool because you can find it anywhere, but also annoying because there's not obviously one lode or one pocket full of gold. It's just spread out everywhere. So let's throw the pan up, and then wherever it lands, we're gonna dig. We're gonna have a look and see if we can find some gold. Let's do it. Alright. We'll use the plastic pan because I don't want to damage my grandfather's pan. So I've just come down from the car up there. Alright, we're going down the creek, and all I'm just going to do is just throw this straight up like that. Alright, that was a bit, it landed where I picked it up from. So we'll go again. Alright, so it's pretty much on the ledge where you come down from. It's not really on an inside bend or anything. So there is bedrock there, but so we'll dig there and we'll have a look. Who knows what's going to happen. Take all this overburden off. I might look a bit stiff, or like there's a pole up there because I'm not used to walking or moving without having my walking stick. So my body's still, or my muscles are still trying to get used to that. So it might look unco, but it's all part of it. All right, let's give that a go. Was one itty bitty, two little bits. Try and separate. Oh, there's three little bits there. I know they've been pretty hard to see. Right on the top there. Now let's try and reduce it down. There we go. Oh, top of the pan there. They're not real big, but there's gold there. All right, let's give Grandpa's pan a go. See how we go with that. All right. Oh. Oh, that's gold. Look at it. Good amount of gold there. Holy, wasn't expecting that. Well, go Grandpa's pan. There's like 5 or 6 good bits there. Now this isn't a representation of the pan's better. Obviously I've dug somewhere different and random. It just means what I suspected, the gold's pretty well scattered throughout the creek. So I'll do that same spot again, see if we get the same result. I'll do it with the newer pan now. All right, let's get into it. Oh. Still got to keep an eye out for crocs up here. Oh. Oh. There we go at the very top. Same amount of gold. So, I mean, it's on that bedrock, or just in that decomposing bedrock, that grey sort of clay region seems to be where it's sticking. So I'm going to keep working this same crevice. It's not really a crevice, it's on the side of it. It's just bedrock, essentially. Yeah, but I might kick it old school with Grandpa's pan. It seems to be, I don't know, it's a bit more fun, isn't it, really? To think that, you know, that was used some 40, 50 years ago to essentially be doing the same thing. Oh. Oh, all right, third pan done. There we go. You can definitely see those ones now. That's about 10 specks. I mean, for this area, it's pretty good. Normally, I run like a 5 or 6 speck pan, but 10 and it's quite chunky. Oh. I'm in the hurt locker, but I thought I'd be able to do a bit more than I actually can. So I might have a little rest for a bit, I think. Whew. Now bear with me, I'll be back out there in a second. Oh. Oh. Nearly kicked us over then. Oh no. Forgot my cold water. I got old water instead. It's alright, water's water. Especially up here. The sun can creep up on you really quick. So it doesn't matter if it's old water or hot water. You need to hydrate. You hear a lot of stories of people, you know, working away, not realizing how hot it is just because they're working so hard, and then all of a sudden they drop. Heat's one of those things that you can be fine 1 minute and then you can rapidly decline. And once you start getting to heat injuries, heat stroke and all that, you know, if you're with someone who does or is showing signs and symptoms of that, you know, I'm obviously sweating, so it's not quite to that point, but people that in the heat that stop sweating, confusion or delusion, and they'll start slurring their words, and you can just, they're really hot and irritated, but there's no sweat coming out. And, you know, on the extreme cases, you can start losing consciousness and things like that. And You want to try and cool them down as quick as you can. So obviously armpits, head, groin is predominantly where you excrete heat or hold heat, and that's where you want to cool down. If they're in the sun, the first thing you want to do is, if it's safe to do so, is pull them out of the sun. Get them out of that element that's causing the injury. Especially when you're out here doing these things solo, that's one of the massive factors. Like, I still got my walking stick in my car because I know that the injury's still there. All right, the ketamine infusion I had it's essentially just a masking agent. So when I walk, I can feel my back cracking and grinding, and it's a really weird feeling. But to not have the pain there is a massive bonus, because I'd feel that, and then I'd have obviously the debilitating pain, not being able to sleep, things like that. And anyway, again, once you're out going a bit that way instead of that way, then yeah. So any sort of injury when you're solo, you got to know or have a basic understanding of what's causing injury and how do you go about ensuring that it doesn't get any worse. So make sure you sit down and have a drink, maybe not in the sun, but sit down, consume water, get in the shade if you start getting too hot, try and alleviate those potential risks. Or a rolled ankle, I've got a first aid kit in the car for strapping, or bandages for any lacerations that I might have. Any adventurer or anyone that goes out solo, I think, should have a basic understanding of first aid. I was lucky enough, I'd done my first aid course, and when I was in the army, I was a combat first aider, or CFA. So it's not that much different from first aid. It's just a little bit more life-saving interventions. Nothing that I can implement in the civilian world, but the knowledge is there, so I have a little bit more better of an understanding of certain injuries, which is good. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable coming out here or going adventuring with my kids, that if something was to happen, I'd have a better understanding of how to remedy those problems. Anyway, let's cool down and we'll shoot back into the creek. Whew. All right, let's get back into it. So the final stages of cleaning this little area out here is I can't get the shovel down in there anymore, or any sort of little hand tool. So what I have is a yabby pump. I went down, got some water, bring it back up, empty the water in there, which obviously concentrates everything into the lowest part of that crack, and then use the yabby pump to suck it out and spit it into that bucket. Oh no, they found my secret spot. One speck. Salty. Alright, so yabby pump on the bottom of that yielded nothing. So either we got all the gold out of that bit, or I don't know, the technique just didn't work. So we're going to continue along that same, we'll work that same sort of crevicey crack and see how we go. Keep working it, see where it stops. I don't think it'll stop. I think it'll just continue throughout pretty much everywhere. I think everywhere has gold. Everywhere. It's just not centrally located, which makes obviously the recovery of the gold a bit more time consuming. But anyway, back into it. Alright, did another 3 or 4 pans. That little crevice there itself seems to have dried up now, so They were holding there, now it's coming out to the flat a bit more. It seems to have dried out. As for like new versus old pan, obviously the newer pan has that snake skin riffling on it, which makes reducing the amount of concentrates down even more a lot easier. But in saying that, I think they're very much the same. If you know how to pan, like new or old school pan, they both have a riffle in there. And even so, you look at the potato style pans, they've got no riffles in them. It's just the way that you go about panning. So I think for pure enjoyment and for the fact that my granddad used it, the metal pan is a win for me today. I'm pretty well knackered doing that, so I'm going to put the river sluice down. I'm just going to find somewhere to sit, and I'm just going to yabby pump straight from the creek bed into the sluice and see if that works. See if the lazy man prospecting can actually produce some gold. So river sluice, sit down and just yabby pump straight into it. Less energy for maximum profit. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Oh. Rightio, here we go. Carefully pick that up. Put it in here. Not a thing. That means we head back over there now, because here definitely hasn't got anything. Oh, it is getting warm, so do probably like 1 or 2 more pans, I reckon. And I mean, it's only gonna be a short video, but it's too hot, man. It's too hot. Oh. Let's go for a walk. I always seem to stay down that area there. I think it's just because I've gotten gold there. So I'm gonna go for a walk up the creek a little bit and see what we can find. This looks nice and crocky. Oh, across the danger water. Ah! I made it. No crocs. I win. Haha. Oh. Oh, man, this heat. Oh, there we go, some bedrock. Sort of like on an inside bend. So, let's have a look there. Looks good. Look at that. That's quartz. quartz in the host rock, in the bedrock. That's something I've not seen before. There's heaps of it too. That's the thing, no one knows, everyone knows this creek, but no one knows the source of the gold. And there's speculation that it's obviously multiple sources. So, who knows, maybe I found the source. Maybe I'm going to make it rich. Or maybe I won't. Only time will tell. Let's get digging. Guys, I reckon that's me. I reckon I'm going to do this pen and I have to call it. I'm getting a bit buggered. I'm starting to feel my spine flare up, which isn't good. I just think I was oh man, that's how you know I'm no good. I start getting lazy and can't lift my legs properly. I think I was expecting a bit more from me. It's a bit of a letdown, especially when you feel like and you think like you can do more and then you can't. It's one of those slow recovery in back injury, eh? It's just frustrating how long it takes. Anyway, let's get this one done and we might call it there, I reckon. Nothing. Whoa. Righto. That's 150 bazillion%. Oh, me done. I'll take the concentrates I got from those 7 or so pans at the start. We'll take them home, we'll give them a clean up and we'll see how much today's effort's been worth. Alright, I'll see you back at home. Rightio. It's too hot. Let's head home. Alright, we got home. It is the next day. Sorry about that. I was pretty wrecked after I got home. I did suffer a little bit from heat and I went into a deep slumber. So what we've got here is our big pan with a dishwashing soap, or you're meant to use jet dry, it's called, but all it does is breaks the surface tension of the water, allowing I think it's called the hypodermic, or it's just floating gold essentially, to sink to the bottom of the pan. So we're going to get our concentrates we got from the river, put it in the small pan, and then we're going to pan it out essentially and see how we went. So you can see some of it here is actually floating. All right. Just take it nice and easy. This is why we do it in another pan or a bowl or something like that, so we can double check our tailings afterwards. Nice and slow when you get down to these concentrates. So I've switched around to the smaller riffles. Can see a little bit of gold there on the edges. Oh, there's some in the riffles there. There's some good bits up there. Nice, good chunky bits. So we'll try and reduce that even more. I'm actually pretty surprised of how much gold came out of there. And this is why you should classify it here, is you run the risk of these bigger stones knocking out equal or smaller size bits of gold and then pouring it into the water or losing it essentially. Nearly there. Oh, look at that. It's not bad. Not bad at all for a day's worth of work. Not bad at all. Now we'll dry that out. So now we're pretty much, I mean, you can go multiple ways about it. You can put it in the oven there to let it dry out, or put it outside to let it dry out. I'm just going to let it naturally dry out. Once it's dried out, then we can further separate the gold. But, I mean, overall, it's actually a pretty good effort for today's work. So, anyway, if you enjoyed content like this and like to see more content like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe and share. And remember, stay wild.